What if I told you that the greatest enemy in your life is not the person who betrayed you, not the people who doubted you, not even the pain you are carrying in silence, but your own undisciplined mind? A weak mind can turn one insult into a wound, one failure into an identity, and one rejection into a lifetime of fear. But a trained mind becomes untouchable. This is the secret Stoic warriors understood long before the world became noisy, emotional, and easily broken. When you master your mind, you stop being controlled by people, circumstances, memories, and fear. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Stoic Hypnosis channel. In this video, you will discover how to take back control of your thoughts, silence the chaos inside you, and build a mind so steady that nothing outside of you can defeat what is rising within you. Now, let's get started. Part 1. Your mind is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Most people spend their lives trying to control everything around them. They want people to understand them. They want circumstances to favor them. They want the world to become fair before they can finally feel at peace. But they are fighting the wrong battle. The Stoics understood something that most people never discover, even after a lifetime of suffering. The real battlefield has never been outside of you. It has always been inside your own mind. Think about it. The same criticism that destroys one person barely touches another. The same failure that makes one individual quit becomes the very reason another rises stronger than ever. The difference is never the event. It is the mind interpreting the event. Your thoughts can become a prison more secure than any walls ever built. They whisper that you are not enough. They replay old mistakes. They predict disasters that never happen. Slowly, almost invisibly, they steal your confidence, your courage, and your future. Most people never realize they are not living according to reality. They are living according to the stories their minds keep repeating. And the most dangerous part? They believe every one of those stories. Stoicism teaches us to pause before believing our emotions. Just because you feel afraid does not mean danger is present. Just because you feel rejected does not mean you have no value. Just because you failed today does not mean you are destined to fail tomorrow. Your mind is an incredible servant, but a terrible master. The moment you stop reacting automatically to every thought, every insult, every disappointment, you begin to reclaim a power that no one can take away from you. Because true strength does not begin when life becomes easier. It begins the moment your mind stops giving the outside world permission to decide who you are. Part 2. Stop becoming a prisoner of your emotions. There is a silent tragedy that unfolds every single day. People lose friendships because of one moment of anger. They destroy opportunities because of one moment of fear. They abandon dreams because of one season of doubt, not because life defeated them, but because they surrendered to emotions they never learned to control. The Stoics never taught us to suppress emotions. They understood that emotions are natural. Fear, sadness, disappointment, even anger. They are all part of being human. The danger begins when emotions become your commander instead of your messenger. Most people wake up and immediately become slaves to how they feel. If they feel motivated, they work. If they feel discouraged, they quit. If they feel rejected, they withdraw. If they feel offended, they attack. Their emotions write every chapter of their lives. But emotions are temporary visitors. They arrive without permission. And if you are patient, they leave without permission as well. The problem is that many people build permanent decisions on temporary feelings. A single painful conversation becomes the reason they stop trusting people. One failure convinces them they are incapable. One betrayal hardens their heart for years. This is how suffering quietly becomes an identity. Stoicism asked a simple but life-changing question: is this feeling telling me the truth, or merely demanding my attention? That one question creates distance between you and your reaction. And inside that small distance lies freedom. You begin to realize that you are not your anger. You are not your anxiety. You are not your fear. You are the observer behind them, the calm mind capable of choosing wisdom over impulse. The strongest people are rarely the loudest or the most aggressive. They are the ones who remain composed while everyone else loses control, because they know something most people never learn. The person who conquers their emotions can never be conquered by the world. And once you master that lesson, the next battle becomes even more difficult. The battle against the endless opinions of other people. Before we continue, take a moment to ask yourself one question. How many battles in your life were truly caused by the world? And how many were created by your own mind? If these words are speaking to something deep inside you, take just 1 second to support this journey. Subscribe to the channel and join a community of people who are choosing wisdom over impulse, discipline over comfort, and inner peace over endless chaos. Because mastering your mind is not something you accomplish in a single day. It is a lifelong journey. Now, let's continue, because the next lesson may completely change the way you see yourself and everyone around you. Part 3. The day you stop seeking approval is the day you become unstoppable. One of the heaviest chains a person can wear is invisible. It is the constant need to be accepted, to be admired, to be understood. Many people never make decisions based on what they truly believe. Instead, they spend years asking silent questions. What will they think of me? What if they don't approve? What if I disappoint someone? Little by little, they surrender pieces of themselves until they no longer recognize the person staring back at them in the mirror. The Stoics warned us about this long before the modern world turned attention into a currency. The opinion of others is one of the few things you can never control. No matter how honest you are, someone will misunderstand you. No matter how kind you become, someone will criticize you. No matter how successful you are, someone will envy you. If your peace depends on changing their minds, you will spend your entire life chasing something you can never catch. True freedom begins the moment you stop negotiating your worth with strangers. You do not need applause to know you are growing. You do not need permission to become stronger. And you certainly do not need everyone to agree with your path before taking the next step. There is a quiet confidence that appears when you no longer wake up trying to impress the world. You begin to value character over reputation, integrity over popularity, purpose over praise. This is why the strongest people often seem calm in the face of judgment. They understand that criticism is inevitable. What matters is whether it contains truth. If it does, they learn from it without bitterness. If it does not, they let it pass like the wind. Imagine how much energy you would recover if you stopped carrying the impossible burden of pleasing everyone. Imagine how many dreams you would finally pursue if you no longer feared being misunderstood. That is the moment your life begins to belong to you again, because the mind that no longer depends on the approval of others becomes incredibly difficult to manipulate, And once you can no longer be manipulated by opinions, there remains one final obstacle standing between you and complete inner strength, the fear of adversity itself. Part 4. Every obstacle is secretly training. Most people pray for an easier life. The Stoics prayed for a stronger mind. There is a profound difference between the two. An easy life may bring comfort, but it rarely builds character. It rarely teaches patience, courage, or resilience. The people who grow the most are often those who have been forced to walk through darkness they never asked for. Look back at your own life. The moments that changed you forever were probably not your happiest ones. They were the nights when you questioned everything, the seasons when you felt abandoned, the failures that shattered your confidence, the losses that left your heart painfully quiet. At the time, those moments felt like punishment. Years later, you realize they were preparation. Life has a strange way of introducing you to your own strength, but only after stripping away every illusion of comfort. This is why Stoicism teaches us not to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That single shift transforms suffering into education. Every obstacle becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes a teacher. Every disappointment becomes an opportunity to develop qualities that success could never provide. The world cannot promise that your plans will always succeed. It cannot promise that the people you love will always stay. It cannot promise that tomorrow will unfold the way you expect. But it does offer you something far more valuable: the chance to become someone who remains steady regardless of what happens. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm without allowing the storm to enter your mind. Imagine facing criticism without losing your peace. Imagine experiencing failure without questioning your worth. That is not denial. That is mastery. A disciplined mind does not ignore pain. It simply refuses to let pain become its identity. This is why adversity is never your greatest enemy. Your greatest enemy is believing that adversity has the power to define you. Because every challenge you survive leaves behind something far greater than scars. It leaves behind evidence. Evidence that you are stronger than your fear, wiser than your past, and far more capable than the voice inside your head has ever allowed you to believe. When you finally understand this, you stop asking life to become easier. You begin asking yourself to become stronger. And that is the moment nothing outside of you can truly break what has already been forged within. Part 5. The greatest victory is the one no one can see. People often believe strength is something visible: a powerful body, a successful career, a large bank account, the admiration of thousands. But history has shown us something very different. Many people who seemed powerful from the outside were quietly falling apart within, and many who appeared ordinary carried an inner strength that no hardship could destroy. The Stoics understood that the greatest victory is never over another person. It is over yourself. Every morning, you choose discipline instead of excuses, you win. Every time you remain calm when anger is tempting you, you win. Every moment you refuse to let fear decide your future, you win again. These victories will never make headlines. No crowd will applaud them. Most people will never notice them. But they are the victories that shape your destiny. The world can take away your possessions. It can take away your reputation. It can even take away the people you thought would stay forever. But there is one thing it cannot take unless you willingly surrender it: the way you choose to respond. That is your final fortress. That is the one place where complete freedom still exists. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that every new day would bring difficult people, unexpected problems, and uncomfortable moments. Yet he also reminded himself that none of those things possessed the power to corrupt his character unless he allowed them to. That is the heart of Stoicism. You do not become invincible because life stops testing you. You become invincible because your values become stronger than your circumstances. There will still be days when doubt whispers in your ear. There will still be moments when fear knocks at your door. There will still be losses, disappointments, and seasons of uncertainty. The difference is that you will no longer meet them as the person you used to be. You will meet them with a disciplined mind, with a calmer heart, with the quiet confidence that every challenge carries within it another opportunity to grow. One day, people will look at you and wonder why nothing seems able to shake your peace. They will think you were born strong. They will never see the thousands of silent battles you fought within yourself. They will never know how many nights you chose wisdom instead of resentment, how many mornings you chose purpose instead of comfort, how many times you stood back up after life tried to convince you to stay down. And perhaps that is the greatest achievement any human being can reach. Not a life without pain, not a life without failure, but a mind so well governed that no insult can poison it, no setback can define it, and no storm can convince it to surrender. Because when you truly master your mind, you discover that the strongest person in the room is rarely the loudest. It is the one who has learned to conquer the only kingdom that truly matters, the kingdom within. Conclusion. In the end, mastering your mind is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming unshakable. Life will continue to test you. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail, and unexpected storms will appear without warning. But none of those things have the final say over your life unless you surrender the one thing that truly belongs to you, your mind. The greatest transformation does not happen when the world changes around you. It happens when your thoughts, your choices, and your character become stronger than your circumstances. That is the true meaning of Stoicism, and that is a victory no one can ever take away from you. The deepest lesson is this: your future is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond to what happens. Every single day gives you a new opportunity to pause before reacting, to replace fear with courage, anger with wisdom, and doubt with discipline. Start with one small decision today. Control one thought instead of letting it control you. Stay calm in one difficult conversation. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to become part of this journey. Subscribe to the channel and join a community dedicated to building strength from within, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Every week, we explore practical lessons that help you become calmer, wiser, and mentally stronger in a world that constantly tries to pull you away from yourself. Remember this: the person who conquers the world may be admired, but the person who conquers their own mind becomes truly free. Thank you for taking the time to watch until the end of the video. See you in the next videos.